Studio check.
Frequencies check.
We are live on air.
You are listening to The In Fact Blessing the Airwaves. Take the journey into the world of sports, news, entertainment, while embracing the hottest beats on the planet. Rocking the mind, body, and with energy, electricity, and a splash of controversy. Now, without further ado, it's our pleasure to bring to you
The biggest show in the world.
The biggest show in the world.
the biggest show in the world, the SBTV Nation.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's Thursday, it's Friday Eve, it's the 11th of May, and I am your host, the Mad Hatter, here back from vacation. We are the SBTV Nation, live on all the social media outlets, including Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, the whole package. And we're here and we're ready to rock. I'm by myself today, but you know what? Hey, I got a little bit to talk about, so I think we'll have an in-depth conversation about a couple of things that are on my brain. First of all, I'd like to welcome back everybody to Twitter right now, and I do always like to accompany our company logo with beautiful females on the tweet. So, Sir Mata and Mo Diggs, thank you very much for tuning in, and everybody else that is going to be joining us shortly. So, you know what, guys? Hey, I went on a cruise. I went out to Haiti. I went out to Jamaica. I went out to Cozumel, Mexico. Now, I can tell you this much, that, you know, usually when we have a good time, we usually plug certain outlets and stuff like that. They're not our sponsors, but you know what? We do what we got to do, and, you know, we just speak the truth here. So I can tell you this much. Royal Caribbean. And the ship that I was on was the Allure of the Seas. And I got to tell you something. No good. No good. Now, I'm going to tell you why. First of all, had a great time with my bride. Okay? As much as she, you know, is a pain in the ass sometimes, we had a really good time together. The food is great if you just want to stuff your face for like a week. It's all well and good. I actually gained 11 pounds when I was on this trip. So, you know, for the most part, I mean, you got the buffets. It's all inclusive. So you basically could stuff your face. And if you buy the drink package, which I did, you can drink as much as you want. You could actually drink 24 hours. And you can't really eat 24 hours because the last thing, like after, let's say, 10 o'clock, the only thing you can really get is pizza at that point. And the pizza was garbage, to be honest with you. So that's kind of the good stuff. And, you know, obviously it lets you sample some islands. You get to go, you know, like I said, it was Haiti, which I really didn't care for that much. Jamaica was cool to a certain extent because we got to go and basically walk the streets and, you know, get away from where everybody else was. And everybody was selling me weed on the street. It was great. I did smoke some of the weed, and I got to be honest with you. It was dirt. It was garbage. I don't know what you guys need to upgrade, man, to some of this medical stuff we got going on here in the States if you're listening from Jamaica right now, because what you're smoking is basically, I mean, I could smoke tobacco and get just as high off it, to be honest with you. But hey, whatever. I smoked a couple of blunts and did my thing up in Jamaica. And, you know, the thing about a cruise is that you have to rush to get back. So, I mean, as soon as you're having a good time, it felt like, is when the ship is getting ready to leave. So you got to catch a taxi, go back to the ship, and just make sure that you're not the last one on, and you don't want to miss your ship sailing off to Cozumel, Mexico, because Cozumel, Mexico, I got to be honest with you, was dope as hell. They did save the best for last. If you ever get a chance to go there, it's one of those places where everything is real laid back. It's like a big island, and, you know, there's all pit stops all over the island. Like, you can go to all these private resorts, and you know, you could drink all you want for like $45 for 4 hours. You can get massaged on the beach. You can go in the water. You could snorkel and all that. So that's kind of cool, and that was the best part of it, to be honest with you. Best damn sports show, period. Fazlane, thank you very much for that. And I'd like to welcome Rick Lopez and JC #SBTV Nation to our program. You know what, guys? I got a lot to talk about today, to be honest with you. I can't promise it's going to be an hour because I got a whole hell of a lot of catch up to do here since I was away. But I'm back, and obviously we're right smack in the middle of the NHL and NBA playoffs. And we're going to talk a little MLB and some of the strategizing that I did while I had some time on the ship as far as gambling on the Major League Baseball. So here's the downside of going on a cruise, especially like the allure of the seas. There's like 8,000 freaking people on this thing, okay? This is what I'm going to tell you. You want to go to the pool. If you don't go to the pool by 10, 11 o'clock, you're not getting a chair. Or you got to go some like after 5. That's number one. Number 2 is your shower. Listen, I weigh about $180 right now. If you're anything over like 200 pounds, 225, something like that, you're not fitting in the shower. The showers suck. And I actually upgraded and got a dope room with a balcony and everything. So right then and there, that was a problem. Now, you got to wait like a half hour to eat sometimes. Getting off the ship takes you like an hour. Just when you're exhausted and you're dying to go home, it takes you another hour to get off the thing. Guys, personally, I'd much rather take like 4 days and fly out to an island and chill, get rubbed up and, you know, drink and eat and do all that and then get my ass back and do more of those trips rather than like 8 days because I got to be honest with you, man. I mean, my wife and I partied the first day we were there, and by day 4, day 5, we were in bed early. Well, she was in bed early. I went out to the casino and did some stuff. But, you know, and obviously the NBA playoffs were on, which I was happy that they had it on the ship. Bottom line is this. 4 days. I think I could do 4 days 3 times a year. I think that's going to be a lot more apropos for my business and my attitude and my leisure of having a good time. So that's pretty much it, and that's a cruise in a nutshell. I'm sure some of you guys really love that, and I wish you the best of luck with that if you're going on these ships. But let me tell you something. I'm just going to be frank with you and honest. If you're fighting to get a beach chair, if you're fighting to wait a half hour to 40 minutes to go to dinner, can you ever imagine if there's an emergency on the ship and people are trying to get off it? Dude, 8,000 people will be complete, utter chaos. I'm telling you, it's brutal. It is a very, very, very rough place to be. And people go on the trips with kids. Like, I don't know what you're thinking if you're bringing your babies on these cruises for 8 days. You're out of your mind. Because you know what? It's just, I could tell by day 4, parents with little kids were absolutely miserable. So anyway, guys, good evening to you. Michael Mosco, what's going on? Thank you for joining us here at the biggest show in the world. And Dream couldn't be on today, but he'll be back with me probably tomorrow. So, you know what? Hey, all well and good. So let's talk a little bit about sports gambling here. So obviously you guys know that, you know, going back at the beginning of the playoffs, I bet the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Golden State Warriors at minus 150 odds to play each other in the NBA championship. So I'm calling for a third year in a row for this matchup to happen. It's not rocket science. Everybody knows it was an easy play up until now. We don't know what's going to happen in the next round, but I can tell you this much. Both teams are going for history here. Both teams have swept their way through, and quite frankly, neither team, whether it was the Jazz, Toronto, Indiana actually showed a little bit of poise in the beginning, but these teams just knew right out the gate that they were defeated. I mean, you could see it in their demeanor. I mean, when they got that first game home, you saw a little bit of drive first half, third quarter, even neck and neck, maybe in the fourth quarter to a certain extent, I believe in the Western Conference semifinals. But I just hope the next round is halfway decent. And I hope that a couple of dogs will actually come through because, you know, quite frankly, I mean, it's been, I want to say that with the exception of the Cavs in Game 4, every game has been decided by double digits or more. So, I mean, they've been, you know, and some of them were competitive. Some of them were competitive, but they ended up being, you know, double-digit victories by the favorites. And you know what? If you're a dog player out there right now, you're not doing so well. But I could tell you this much. If you are a dog player who likes to bet the other team, and that sounds stupid, but it's not, go out there and play adjusted lines. To be honest with you, you might as well. Listen, if you're laying 7 and you buy it up to a minus 11, let's say, they're covering. So now you're at a plus 150 or whatever it ends up being. But listen, it makes a lot of sense. And I'm going to get into a little bit with this, and I'm going to get into a little bit with baseball as well, because I've been playing a lot of baseball. You know, what sucks about being on the ship is I wasn't able to watch any of it. They had no baseball on anywhere. I thought maybe my co-host, The Dream, was the captain at that point. But, I mean, at least I got to see the NBA playoffs. Welcome to Vegas Girl and Fast Eddie. Fast Eddie, I'm waiting for some photos from you, by the way, brother. All right. So, just taking it into consideration, you know, as we were talking about how they've all been double digits, okay? Like tonight, if you wanted to take the Rockets plus 12.5, just throwing it out there. You know how I feel about double-digit underdogs, but you know you're plus 200, so it's basically 2-1. So based on the way things have been going, and you might think that's a crazy bet, but Tony Parker's gone, and Kawhi Leonard is a game-time decision. We don't even know the status of Kawhi Leonard. Unless any of you guys have it, I have questionable on all my boards. I've looked everywhere. He's questionable. And I have a feeling that he may attempt to play, but he's not going to be 100%. So that's probably why the Houston Rockets are minus 6.5 tonight. And looking at it here, yep, 6.5 all across the board with an under over of 214.5. I did say that I thought the Houston Rockets can win this series. I said that. And I meant it. And to be honest with you, they had every shot in the world to win this series. They still do, but it's going to be very, very difficult. But I'm going to tell you why. I paint the picture here. One more free throw goes in by the Houston Rockets in game number 5. And they win the game. Now, you got a banged-up Spurs team in Game 6 in Houston. They could have won the series. Bottom line. You catch another foul your way, or you catch the ball bounces in the rim. I mean, listen, they're literally like almost 1 point away at this point from having a 3-2 lead and going into the next game with a banged-up Spurs team. So, you know what? I was close. I'm not writing them out yet. They'll probably force a Game 7, and anything can happen in Game 7. You already know that. Don't think the Rockets have a chance anymore. I did in the beginning. I didn't bet it. I wanted to, and I should have, because I could have been doing some hedge work right now, especially if Spurs banged up. But whatever. Hey, it is what it is, and I think the Houston Rockets will probably win tonight. They'll probably cover that 6.5. I may take a shot and buy it down to 6. It's probably the move. We'll see. We'll get into it shortly. Okay? Looking at the other series, you know, we talked about the West. Let's talk about the East for a minute. Cleveland Cavs are obviously sitting home, chilling, practicing, watching every single game in and out. Now, you know, there's something I want to just put in your brains for a minute, guys. I want you to think about this. So you've got the Cleveland Cavaliers watching every single game, present day game. They're not watching past tape. They're watching the moves of their whoever their competitor is going to be. They're watching it live in front of their eyes. And you know the whole team is watching this. I don't know if they get together and watch these games or not. I would personally, if I was a coach, I would sit their asses down and make them do it, to be honest with you. But think about it. It's real time. So they're watching it, and they're probably playing in their heads how they're going to defend Isaiah Thomas and how they're going to defend Crowder and, you know, the other supporting cast. You know, and almost kind of forecasting their moves in their brain. That meaning if the Boston Celtics win the next game or win this series, which they're up 3-2, and they're probably going to win the series. But, guys, I don't know. I think Cleveland feeds off the rest, man. I think Cleveland off the rest is like 100% more productive than the Golden State Warriors, because Golden State Warriors are a high, fast-paced team. So it may take them a little bit further or a little bit longer to get in their groove. Maybe like second quarter of the first game of the next series, something like that. Especially if they're playing a team like the Spurs, who plays a very good defense. It's probably going to take them out of their element for a minute. I think the Cleveland Cavaliers, dude. You got the Cleveland Cavaliers chilling for like 8 days. However long this has been. When was the last time they played? They played, they play Sunday? Yeah, when I came home, Sunday. So, if you look at it and you think about it, if the Celtics can close it out Friday, the next series would start. That would be a week. What if the Celtics lose? You got another game to play. So, that's going to give them like a week and a half off. I'm telling you, man, that's a great situation. Regardless if they have home court or not versus the Celtics, I believe that is a super incredible situation for the Cleveland Cavaliers. And the way my boy has been playing, to be honest with you, they might be trying to sweep this Celtics team. And quite frankly, I think the Celtics can get a game because they have home court. Cleveland Cavaliers are winning the series, guys. Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be in the NBA Finals yet again for a third year in a row, and I wouldn't be surprised if my bet came to fruition with the matchup for the third time in a row being with the Golden State Warriors. So, hey, anyway, listen, if it's Spurs-Warriors, that should be a good series. Tony Parker's going for the year. Kawhi Leonard, hopefully he gets a little time to rest. Should be a pretty good series. I don't see it going 7 games. I'd say 6. That's another great bet that I missed, and I should have talked about it, guys. And if the Spurs make it to the next series, I may do the 5-game bet and the 6-game bet, so you can get plus money for the series to end at a certain time. So that's something to take a look at as well. So pulling back up on Twitter, there we go, Fast Eddie. Thank you very much, and that is the Russian. I believe I believe that one's Russian because I see her all the time, dude. So big ups to you for sending me that. That is a very, very nice photo. Thank you very much. Got my man Martin out there, Wayne Yarborough. Good evening to you guys. So listen, moving forward. Okay, we got another matchup, obviously, tomorrow night. We got Boston Celtics getting 5 points from the Wizards. Wizards' backs are against the wall. You know what? It's probably a really good bet to do a money line parlay with the 2 home teams the next 2 nights. Houston Rockets and the Washington Wizards. You got 290, minus 290, and you got minus 220. To probably put you somewhere along the lines of even money. I think that's a really strong bet, guys, to be honest with you, because I can't see the Rockets losing, and I could see the Wizards losing the next game, but I think the Warriors will come out the Wizards will come out to play. So, you know what? When you got the 2 teams backs against the wall and they're in front of their home crowd, might be a decent bet. Might be a decent bet after all. So, all right, I'm going to switch gears real quick. Now, this is NBA playoffs. We've talked about what went down. We talked about what is to come. Now we can talk about baseball a little bit. Now, obviously, baseball, 162 games, okay? Now, gets boring from time to time. Everybody will agree with that. And I'm sure even the biggest baseball fans in the world will say that, when you have 100,000 foul balls in a row. But I'm going to tell you something. Something that I found while I was away, because I had plenty of time just to kind of screw around and dick around and all that. But you know what? Let's pretend let's pretend that we take even money on a ball game. Let's say that we're doing a minus 112. Let's say we're doing San Francisco Giants, Cincinnati Reds tonight. Okay? Let's say we're taking the San Francisco Giants minus 112. I'm not saying I'm doing it because the Giants stink. Both of these teams stink, to be honest with you. But I want you to think about this for a minute. let's say we do this game 10 times, and we take the favorite every time. Okay? Now let's say 10 times. Let's do that. Okay? Let's say we went 10-0. Which is going to be hard, but let's say we went 10-0. Okay? We picked up, say, $1,000 a game. We picked up $9,000, more or less, because it's minus 112 odds. I want you to think about something for a minute. And this is something that I did a lot of analytics, a lot of math, a lot of stuff. Because you know what? When you're sitting on a boat and looking at the water, you got a lot of time to do some thinking. San Francisco Giants run line is plus 175. Plus 175. That's almost 2 bets. Okay? Let's put that in your brain for a minute. Now I want you to hear this stat. 28%, and this was 1 year, this was the highest year ever. I believe it was 2012. The highest year ever had 28% of the ball games get decided by 1 run. That means 72%, 3 out of 4 games were decided by 2 runs or more. Okay? So now think about it. So we played 10 games and we went 10-0 if we took the money line. We made $9,000. Cool. Well, let's say that the next 10 games we take the run line. And the run line failed because our team won by 1 run 3 times. But we won 7. And we won 7 with plus 175 odds. Okay? That puts you at a very, very, very strong position. Because think about it. You're picking up like 13. You're picking up 13. I think it's 12 or 13, something like that. You're picking up 13 units, but you're dropping 3. It's 10 units instead of 9. $10,000. And that's at 30%. That's me going crazy. Typically, it's 25% down to 20%. So I just want you guys to think about it for a minute. Put it on paper. What I'm getting at is that I believe mathematically that the run line is the way to go with betting baseball. You're going to lose. Listen, you're going to lose some games. You're going to do it. But you're getting almost 87. You're getting, what is that? 87. I mean, you're getting like 85% more of your money. It's insane. So I just want you guys to think about that for a minute, because you know what? It's something that I've just kind of wrapped my brain around time and time again. And now that I'm looking at it, it makes a lot of sense. And especially, guys, especially if you shop your lines. Now, this one book I'm looking at is plus 175. I bet you I could find a plus 185 somewhere all day long. It's another, 6%? Not bad. So, hey, listen, little bit of story with you, whatever, it is what it is. So let's just go back to yesterday. Now, there was, how many that we have? We had out of how many games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 games. There were only 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 one-run games. That's actually higher than usual. But I'm just saying, for the most of the time, it comes out. Some of them you could have laid 2.5. To be honest with you, I know that's a little bit more difficult, but hey, guys, it is what it is. I'm just pointing it out. Something that I learned and something that I paid attention to while I was away. So, anyway, listen, if you're a chase player and you're chasing your team, you might as well chase with the run line. Because you know what? If you lose, you're losing less if you're doing it that way. And you're gaining a whole hell of a lot more. So, hey, guys, listen, you know what? I'm just sharing a little bit of my stuff with you, and I hope that you can learn a little something by talking to your boy who's been doing this somewhere along the lines of 20 years. Yeah, about that. been gambling for about 20 years now. It's 2 decades. So, listen, there's no hockey tonight. You guys all know what's going on with the hockey rink. I can tell you this much, that I do love the prop of a team being up in the first period. What I've been doing is basically I take both teams at plus money minus a half puck. It sounds crazy, but it ends up hitting a lot because you get, a lot of those 1-0s, those 2-1s, those 2-0s, stuff like that. So I've been doing stuff like that too, guys. So I've been, manipulating a little bit, doing my thing. And good evening to my man Direct Sports Solutions out there as well. Hope you are out there cashing tickets. And guys, listen, if you want some long-term type of plays and some packages, make sure you hit up my man Direct Sports Solution on Twitter. He can, and his website as well, man. So big ups to you, brother, and big ups to the entire SBTV Nation. So listen, guys, hey, we got no hockey. We have a little bit of basketball tonight. We have one game tonight, one game tomorrow. Probably would entertain money lining the 2 home teams in the next 2 events. And doing a little bit of MLB run lines. That's where I'm at. So, hey, listen. I got to talk to you to death about my trip. Talk to you to death about life. About the islands. About how awful the cruises are these days. But you know what? Hey, listen. Go out there, sample some stuff with your gambling, man, and shop your lines. Shop your lines. Shop your lines. If there's anything that I could teach you in this world, shop your lines if you're gambling. Don't be handcuffed to one book. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. I can tell you this much. Bet Us. I'm just going to throw it out there. Bet Us. BetUS has the absolute most top-heavy favorite lines there are out of any of the books. Favorites are, on one book minus 120. There it'll be minus 140. And they don't really overcompensate with the underdogs either. So, that's a great book because they pay well. But I'm just saying that shop your lines. That's it. All right, guys. So we'll be back tomorrow, Friday night. 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time with the SBTV Nation. I hope you enjoyed listening to me. I enjoyed talking to you. So, you know what? Looking forward to being back tomorrow. We'll see who we can get on the line, whether it's the Evil Genius, the Dream, and or both. And then we'll be back over this weekend. We won't be on Sunday because it is Mother's Day, and, we get to deal with the fiasco of Mother's Day. Obviously, show your mother some love because they're the reason why you're here. So whatever you do in life, guys, do whatever it is you need to do whatever it is that you want to do and get that money. Let's go.